Welcome back to Western Montana Views. I'm Ryan.
I'm Lee.
Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking more about solar. More portable solar.
We'll talk about portable solar, the difference being portable and fixed.
Sure.
Later we'll get to the fixed aspect of solar.
Yep. So if you haven't already seen, go check out the last video, which is our little mini product review for the solar suitcase and for the Jackery. That will be the reference material basically for these topics, basically. And we're just going to basically kind of talk about them and why we like them.
Right. Well, portable is gaining popularity amongst the everyday user.
I think so.
You don't have to be an expert really anymore.
No.
It's popular among outdoor enthusiasts. They're using it more in camping,
Sure.
boating, mostly in a camping configuration, no matter how you get to your camp. If you're a bicyclist that plans to make a camp, if you're a boater that plans to camp along the way,
Yep.
if you're a four-wheeler person that is going to go up in the mountains, stash your rig, and hike another 4 or 5 miles away from your rig, really popular at this point. The reasons are everything's pretty compact,
Yeah.
right?
We're able to fit it in small little things now. Small little battery packs now. And most people I know, they just have the little slim, thin little thing that'll charge it 3, 4, 5 times basically. But now we can get them to the point where they can charge laptops all the way full 4, 5 to 10 times. They can run flashlights all the way full hundreds of times. iPods, music, entertainment. It could keep all those juiced up and charged for a whole weekend camping.
What were those little speakers that we used to have? iHome speakers?
iHome speakers, yeah, that hooked up, to the headphone jack.
And they were the best.
They were good.
They were a product, a thank you, NASA, right? That's a product from our space industry.
It might be. I'm not sure on that one.
But I know it is. It's got to be.
It's got to be.
It's got to be, right. The equipment is compact, relatively. I mean, you have to take everything in relation to the payoff. Relatively light, durable, reliable, and not quite as inexpensive as we would like right now.
No,
but it's getting there.
And they're much cheaper than something like this, a solar speaker.
Right.
But the cool part about this is you can charge it with the sun.
Yeah. And if you're away from your four-wheeler, your Jeep or your kayak, if you stash your vehicles and then continue to hike, you're going to want something that can recharge some of your convenience. Flashlight, you bet. Why wouldn't you want a fully charged flashlight? Of course, you're going to pre-charge all of this stuff before you go home, or before you leave home.
Yeah.
Before you leave home, and then once you're there, you can maintain that charge.
Yep.
Right? And then about the time that you're ready to come home, you pretty much depleted everything. So,
but these products will definitely get you through a weekend.
Definitely. Anything, anyone that plans for an extended stay away from home, where regular charging capabilities aren't available. And the reason that I was saying, you stash your four-wheeler and you stash your car, most people would say, well, why don't you just charge it off your car? Well, what if you're not next to your four-wheel drive?
Right.
What if you stash your vehicle, park it off in the trees, and continue to hike? You're still going to want your creature comforts, right? So,
you have extra battery for radios if they charge off USB. You have extra battery for like I said, light. Having that extra light, knowing that thing can run 24 hours straight on just the light alone.
Right.
On some of these, even on the solar speaker, it'll run like 6-7 hours just on the light function.
Right. Yeah.
So that's pretty neat, actually, or even longer. So
I suppose the biggest thing is you ascertaining the power that you'll need to bring your creature comfort with you. What are you charging? Just an iPhone? And how many wattage would that take? Or how many times are you going to charge your smartphone and your hiking buddy's smartphone?
Right.
Will determine even a different amperage. What's the lowest, or wattage? What's the lowest wattage? 7?
For what application? 7 watts for what?
For recharging your cell phone.
I'd say a phone is about 5. 5 watts is the current it runs at, whereas usually it'll run at 1 to 2 to 3 amps, basically. So volts times amps equals watts.
Right. So you got to do a little bit of math.
A little bit of multiplication.
Before you buy your solar.
Before you know how long your solar can take you, I would say you need to do the math.
Do a little bit of math and buy accordingly. And then what's the very first thing you would look for online is the desired wattage based off your math.
So the cool part is they make it friendly enough to look some of these products up now, where they can basically say, this will charge your laptop 15 times. This will charge your phone 30 times. This will, they give like basic examples of what it can run, Some can run, like the Jackery A1000, I think, can run a coffee pot, for example.
Mm-hmm. But depending on the size of the power that you need and the creature comfort that you plan on using, you're gaining weight.
Oh, sure.
You're gaining weight.
Oh, no doubt.
Uh-huh. So
and you don't want to take everything. You don't want to take your espresso maker. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Popcorn maker. Yeah. I'm not saying do that, but what I am saying is you can throw some of these basic little battery packs in a backpack. And basically you can have enough to survive on, enough to party with out there, and enough to get you back. No problem. You know? And you don't have to be like, well, I can only use these D cells for the flashlight, not for the radio. You don't have to pick and choose that way. You can actually use the stuff.
If you have an assortment of batteries in a backpack, right away that it's going to get heavy real fast.
Yeah.
So the idea is
you put them in a separate pack.
I'm going to go camping.
Yeah.
I'm going to go camping. I'm going to load up all this stuff in my Jeep. I'm going to drive up in the hills. So what am I recharging? I'm going to keep my cell phone topped off.
Camera.
My GPS topped off. My camera topped off. Because that's all I'm doing is I'm topping off.
Right.
I'm not charging it from scratch.
From dead to 100 every time.
That would take...
You'd have to really try. The thing is, you'd have to really try.
Right.
Really be cognizant of, I'm going to run this all the way down to the bottom.
Right.
You'd have to really know.
My iPods,
yeah,
I would recharge those. I think
probably once a day. If you use them all, you do it once a day. Yeah, I would charge it right up.
Flashlight.
Sure, yeah.
Right, unless you got one of them shaky flashlights, which, fair, it's not solar, but you know what?
Yeah.
Good equipment. Anything with a dynamo.
It'll work, yeah.
And we aren't trying to say that we're all or none with solar. We are agnostic when it comes to our power.
Right.
If you're out camping with your camp trailer and you need power and you have a generator,
yeah,
like we do,
yeah,
you string out 50 feet of line, put the generator at the end of it. Give the rope a pull, unless you're like my buddy that says, I got the same machine, but it's a push button start. I think I called him a dirty name because I'm still pulling on my course. So we are not agnostic. We're just talking about solar at this point. We think that it's really cool. It's the wave of the future. Everyone's talking about it. But now's the time that if you haven't gotten into it at all, haven't looked at it at all, do some research online. And
I think it's only going to get cheaper too, honestly.
And Ryan here has a couple different figurations. He's got it from throw it in your knapsack and hit the trail to
running in the garage, being able to run a freezer fridge, yeah.
Or a not portable solar.
And that's not portable,
that is not.
Yeah.
So anyway, and so based on the equipment that I want to top off or charge,
Sure.
would determine also some of the other conveniences with my portable solar kit, so to speak. If I want 2 USB ports as opposed to one. If
Yeah.
I'm the only one at camp, one USB is enough, and I just have to alternate my gear.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. If I've got a camp buddy or my wife or yourself along, and we want a little bit more
Yeah.
of it,
And
then,
you want, yeah.
then you want some more creature comforts in your charger. Is that what the term for it? Because you got your panels.
Sure.
It goes into a charger.
Solar charger, yeah.
Solar charger.
Yeah.
And then it goes into your peripherals.
Yeah.
Which is you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Your devices, yeah.
Right. Your orange Jackery that you showcased the other day.
Right.
How many watts is that?
It's 160 watt hours.
How many USB ports are out of it?
I think there are 2 to 3 USB ports. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh, right. I was looking for it. It's right
Whip-
here. So I got okay. So this is why I
So
couldn't answer.
show them.
I have a USB-C port right there.
Right.
I got 2
USBs.
USBs. I have a 12 volt out. Basically, there's a little adapter that has a cigarette adapter that goes on the end of this, and there's a cigarette adapter that goes into this.
Right. And then on the end you have
Power, yeah, AC power.
AC power. Is that the AC power? No, AC power out.
Yep.
AC power out.
AC
Yeah.
power out, and then this is where there are adapters for cigarette adapter. There's an adapter for the solar. There's an adapter for the wall. So and then it all just goes into this one in basically.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Cool
there's
little
that
item.
one. Yeah.
So, and you have a number of different Jackery products that you're
I have a few. Yeah.
quite happy with. I love that one panel that we have in the other room.
The portable one, yeah, the one that just folds over, yeah.
The one that just folds over because you have a suitcases.
Yeah.
Who makes your suitcase ones? The
Renogy.
Renogy.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're pretty much Jackery or Renogy.
As far as as far as solar products go and being able to find them, yeah, right now. But I do think that more American products are coming. I do think more of the solar market is coming.
Oh, you know it's going to.
Yeah, it's gonna lift off.
That's an industry that we can start.
Yeah, we're in like the beginning right now as far as portable technology goes and portable batteries go. We're like in the beginning.
Right. And these other
lithium hasn't been cheaper. Lithium ion hasn't been cheaper at this point.
And the foreign companies that do build these products and stuff, a lot of good quality products, very reliable products. That's all well and good, but America is now getting into the game, and we're going to see some great products come down the turnpike. I'm waiting for a solar panel that you roll up, and then you stick it in a tube.
Right.
And then you strap it to your backpack. You know?
If it didn't break the buses and the bus bars in between the individual circuits, I could see that. But, yeah.
I mean, it'd be just nice to get away from AA batteries, D batteries. When I was in the Army, I carried a radio. It was called a PRC 77. And it had a square battery in it with multiple pinholes, and then on the bottom of your camera you had the male pins, and then your battery had the female holes, and you'd pop them in, but the battery itself weighed like
huge
3 pounds.
Oh,
and I think
that's heavy.
And everyone in my squad carried one.
Yeah.
Right. So you had to take the whole bottom of the radio off to shake out the battery. You put the other battery in the bottom, and then as you would get it in place and then buckle the thing up.
Yeah.
Right, it would make contact.
That's what makes the contact, yeah.
Right. So everyone was always complaining that had to carry an extra battery for me. I quickly pointed out to them that I had to carry extra ammo for them.
Right.
Yeah, the M60 gunner was like, hey, take this belt of ammo. And I'd say, well, take this battery. It turned out to be a even trade.
Yeah.
You know?
Sounds like it.
Right. Yeah, so we talked about Jackery, Renogy. You had mentioned the other day about Blue Eddy.
Blue Eddy, yeah.
Okay, tell me a little bit
So
about
Blue
that.
Eddy, I believe they started off Kickstarter, I believe. So you know what Kickstarter is?
I'm 65, right? I'm an analog man in a digital world.
All right. So Kickstarter is basically, have you heard of crowdfunding or fundraising off of the internet?
Oh, sure, Ryan.
So
No, I have not.
I'm sure you've heard some of it, but basically, you go to this site. It's called Kickstarter.
Okay.
Basically, people put up this goal, basically to kickstart their idea or their fundraiser or their charity or whatever. People have been using it to fund hospital bills for a long time, actually.
Okay.
So this is basically what kickstarts a fundraiser, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So Blue Yeti is basically this company that basically has designed and made their own portable power pack themselves, and they're still kind of in the alpha beta phases to, you know, just to be nice. I've heard some quality control here and there, but as that gets ironed out and worked out as time goes on, I think Blue Eddy will be one of the bigger companies for solar.
So at this point, are they making the panels?
They're making the they might be making panels now, actually, but no, they're making the battery packs, basically, like new battery packs that have like 2,000 watt hours instead of 160 watt hours.
Wow.
Or 200 watt, or 240 or 250 is what's in the suitcase.
Right.
So 2,000. So you can easily run a coffee pot with that thing, you know what I mean?
You can easily charge a Makita battery.
You can charge a Makita battery, yep.
And if you can charge a Makita battery, the world is your oyster.
Yep,
right?
and that's what I can do with that fixed setup, that solar setup in the garage. I can actually run those Makita. I can recharge those Makitas.
I was wondering when that thing came and you unwrapped it and you said, "Look at this, Makita coffee pot."
Yep.
And I said, "Why would you want that? Our coffee pot's right there on the counter." And you said, "What if the power goes out?"
Yeah.
And then you brewed me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I'll take my hat off to you. It was a good idea.
Well, I remember when we did have that power outage that was literally like a week or two or whatever it was later.
Uh-huh.
You remember that?
Yes.
Where it was like, okay, well, this is the coffee cup so we don't all kill each other, basically. I was able to brew enough to basically make a cup for everybody.
Right.
And then about an hour later, the coffee, you know, everything turned back on.
Right.
And then we could make regular coffee in the coffee pot again.
But
But it's a good little trick if
little shakedown cruise.
it's a good little trick when your power is truly out.
Right.
You're stressing. You need a cup of coffee to think. You're trying to figure out what to do for the day, whatever, you know, and if it happened early morning, you at least have your one cup of coffee.
Right. Yeah, if you can charge a Makita battery, the world's your oyster.
Yeah, and like you were saying, you can, you know, build a barn, you know, with a Makita drill.
With a driver.
Yeah.
Seen it done it.
Yeah.
Gonna do it tomorrow.
You can do quite a bit with these lithium-ion batteries now.
Sure.
And they can charge rather fast. Which is pretty cool. And like you said, you know, from, you know, late 60s, early 70s, you know, we've come a long way, you know, in battery technology.
I remember an article in the Mother Earth News, and for any of our viewers that know about that publication, it was about how to make a better greenhouse, how to weave yourself a macrame hanger. It was a bunch of hippie stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I didn't know where you're going with that.
And they would always talk about someday in the future we're going to have these solar panels and it's going to be able to do this and that and the other thing, you know. Well, not that much longer. We had them, but the cost was prohibitive.
Oh,
you couldn't get to it. The early solar cells, they were huge. I mean, you needed you need to be an electrical engineer just to figure out how to make it,
And there was no internet back then.
And there was no internet to show you, the shortcuts.
There was no friendly Will Prowse. Shout out Will Prowse. There was no Will Prowse back in the day.
I even know who Will Prowse is.
Because I put his YouTube on,
Right.
For real, because I actually learned quite a bit off his channel. So
yeah.
He's just enthusiastic about, all right, let's just put this together. Hey, look at that. Hey, it works.
But, right now, the expense for these component stuff, it is dropping. Now,
it is.
In the time of COVID, if you're struggling to pay rent and put food on on the table, you've already stopped watching this particular installment of Western Montana Views.
They probably wouldn't be watching anyway, to be honest. But
right. But if you're vacillating between should I invest in some solar or not, you should. Again, you weigh your application use. Maybe you don't want to jump in for tens of thousands of dollars or whatever it would cost to wire your home up to solar.
Oh, and I wouldn't even say do your own home right now. I mean, your
Right.
whole own home, unless you have those tax rebates and willing to pay for it.
But if you want a few creature comforts along the camp trail, or at the campsite, or out on a boat,
that's where we're going to be more focused. That's where at least I'm going to be more focused, is products like these that work out in the woods.
well, you can dip your toe into this technology.
Yeah.
And as you learn more, because I have learned myself, I am teachable. I really have a newfound respect for it and appreciation for it. And, we're just starting out, like everything, trying to learn something new along the way.
Right.
It is possible to teach old dogs new tricks, but...
And there's also other cool things, too, There's also those... fridges that are powered off of like 50 watts, and you have other things like that too. I'm hoping to get more and more into a lot of those portables, portable stuff in the future. If I'm putting money towards actual gear and actual fun stuff, I think a lot of it is going to go towards solar.
Right.
At least a decent fraction anyway, of disposable income. Yeah, I could see it.
I think that there will be incentives along the way for bigger solar projects for the homeowner. I mean, it's where we're going. We cannot just keep using fossil fuels as our sole sources of power.
The problem is the water. The problem is the water supplies. It's not necessarily even the oil. We're getting oil into America. It's just a matter of, are we crossing very critical rivers,
Yeah.
Are we crossing certain watersheds and streams that could endanger everybody else downstream? Those are the questions that don't get answered,
Well, the Exxon Valdez disaster along the coast of Alaska was catastrophic.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine one of those in the heart of the city, or in the heart of the nation.
Right.
Right.
So let's say you do the upper Missouri River, and you do all that farmland, all that water downstream, all that food downstream,
Right.
all that stuff is contaminated now.
Right.
Everything is not working right. I was going to say something else, but everything's not working right.
Well, for the employees of the XL pipeline, sorry to hear about your situation. However,
those jobs aren't permanent anyway.
they weren't permanent, and Canada's not paying us enough for the rent.
Right, and if you work that pipeline, you're gonna, I even read an article today that basically said you will most likely be working one of those, man camps where there's high crime rate. There's, they're not going to have anything for you. Everything's going to be like 15, 20, 30 bucks for like a burger,
Well, the more you make, the more it costs.
Right? Boomtown and bust cycles, basically. It's kind of weird to see it in our part of the world, but...
It's Seattle during the gold rush up into Alaska. Everyone came to Seattle to get a ferry ride up to Alaska before they would go and stake their claim.
Mm-hmm. So instead of that...
Excuse me, and the Seattleites, they didn't feel the need to go to Alaska, to mine for gold, because what they were doing was... This is how they used to say it is, they would stay at home and they would mine the miners.
Mm-hmm.
And shovels weren't cheap, and nothing was cheap to the miner.
Right.
So you want to play, you got to pay.
Right.
But this is an entertaining and educational way.
But the interesting with solar though is I don't think you have to pay to play. I mean, yes, you do have to do a little, but compared to recent past, initial investment, sure.
Right.
But compared to recent past, lithium is so much cheaper than even 5, 10, 15 years ago when the most basic of cameras and the most basic of digital cameras and camcorders, it's like, oh, we can run these for like 30, 45 minutes. Right. How long? That's a long time for a battery.
Right. We are going to transition away from fossil fuel products. We'll always have them.
Sure.
But we're going to greatly scale down. GM said by 2035, all electric vehicles. We'll see if that.
We'll see.
We'll see if that.
I'm skeptical on that one.
But
I'm pro solar, but I'm skeptical on that one.
But it is at least a different way of looking at their future instead of just being against something because it isn't the way we used to do it. It's not the way we used to do it. Let's not do it. Change is tough. Change is tough, but it can be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It can be affordable, and you can educate yourself and others along the way to use more and more solar, whether it's portable or fixed, and ease that demand on the petrochemical.
Right, and that's where usage. I think portable solar will come in more as far as conversation starters.
Mm-hmm.
Because you won't know lots of people with solar panels on their houses. You just won't. I mean, maybe you do, but good for you. But but most people, at least around our neighborhood or at least around neighborhoods elsewhere, most people don't have solar panels. But I could see a ton of people having battery chargers. I could see a ton of people having, little mini solar kits to run, insulin pumps or to run mini fridges.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think people are going to see more, is more for utility than for even just climate.
Right.
I guess is what I'm saying. But the ancillary benefit will be that the climate gets better.
Right.
That's the ancillary benefit.
Right.
From it. So, but where I think solar should also focus on is utility. Where I think renewable energy should be focused on is utility. How easy is it to get and use it.
Right. And
and then that'll just proliferate. That'll just go everywhere if that's the case.
And a couple other things we talk about solar as far as being a portable energy source and stuff. I wonder about paddle wheels.
Oh yeah.
I wonder about small windmills
mm-hmm.
that you can put in your backpack. You're up at camp. You got a babbling brook. You set up your little water wheel. It goes spin, 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 spin,
mm-hmm.
spin. Right? Turns a dynamo.
Sure.
Powers the light that's in your tent.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a windy place like Livingston, Montana, where the wind blows all the time, maybe there's a portable windmill that you can set up at a campsite that would turn,
mm-hmm.
operate a dynamo. Powers your light in your tent.
Sure.
There's something to that effect. But renewable power sources. And, of course, the one that we like right now the most is solar.
Mm-hmm.
I like taking it from the sun. We're sun farmers.
Yep. We're not solar aficionados. We're sun farmers.
No, we aren't experts at all. But, I mean, what was the name of the gentleman on
solar?
Solar.
Will Prowse.
Was he the one that put the solar system on his golf cart?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to.
And he was just giddy as can be, just putting it together, making it work. It's like, does he have to make it? No. Does he want to make it? Yes. And that's kind of a lot of his channel.
If you want to be entertained and learn something, you watch Will put solar panels on the top of his golf cart.
Mm-hmm.
It is great.
It's cool. Great. I actually thought that was a cool project. I really do think that would just be, if all else failed if that's all you could have, I would much rather have that golf cart than to be walking.
Well, I was gonna call.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna call Grandma and say, "Yeah, you still having a problem with Grandpa driving you crazy? You need to get him out of your house, get him into the shop, show him this video, because you know your Grandpa." He would watch that and go, "That's pretty cool.
That's kind of neat."
And then he would Uber it.
Right.
Right.
So I don't want to bash gasoline or octane or anything made with gas or anything.
No, we're
not bashing it at all.
No.
It's just we do think that we now have the ability
to
branch off and grab the energy from that nuclear reactor in the sky. That nuclear fusion reactor in the sky.
Like it doesn't give me any signs that it's going to burn out.
Not before the end of my lifetime. So.
Right. Right.
Let's wrap it up. Thanks
Okay.
for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching us. We appreciate you. Check us out twice a week here on the channel, and we look forward to seeing you again. I'm Ryan.
I'm Lee.
Peace out, everybody.
See you later.
See you later.